Hi, Terry here with Bead Addicts Yarn, and today we're going to go over the supplies that you need to make a tapestry / mochila bag. The supplies you're going to need, I'm going to show you in order in which they are used. First, you're going to need a drinking straw. Just a plain old simple drinking straw will be fine. Some tape, scissors, a clamp, and this is just a magnetic refrigerator clamp, yarn, of course yarn, and this is 100% mercerized cotton yarn. These are sold in 50 gram or 1.76 ounce skeins, and they are 125 meters or 136 yards. This is the recommended yarn for making these bags. You can use a heavier weight. Can't guarantee that the results are going to be the same. It's going to, well, definitely going to be a bigger bag, or if you use the same size crochet hook, you're going to be fighting with it. But this is the recommended yarn. We use cotton because cotton does not stretch, it doesn't pill, it's usually color fast, so you don't have to worry about it bleeding and such, and is very, very durable. The mercerized part of the 100% mercerized cotton is the yarn has a slight sheen to it, and it makes it a lot softer. If you use like peaches and cream like they use for dishcloths, that's a lot bulkier. It is not shiny. It will split when you're using it, and you're going to be fighting along the whole way, and I don't think you'll be happy. So, and this yarn we sell here in the US. We are the only, as far as I know, the only company that sells Ice brand. This is Camilla cotton, and but we sell it in single skeins. If you buy it from Ice or any other company, you usually have to buy in multiples of 6. So, but we sell it in single skeins, so you can get a nice color selection, and at a very reasonable price. We charge $2.80 per skein, and a lot of times we have discounts and specials going on. So you might want to check us out at www.beadaddictsyarn.com. Okay, another thing you're going to need, of course, is a crochet hook. Okay, for this project, we are going to be using a number 4 or 2.5 millimeter crochet hook. We also sell these on our website for $10 a piece, which is below the MSRP price, the normal price. You can get it other places if you can find this. I prefer these cushion gripped handles. They're a lot more comfortable in your hand, so you might want to give it a try. Another thing we're going to need is, oh, I missed this one in my, oh no, I did put that in. Here we go. Another thing is a stitch marker, and this is called a split ring stitch marker, so that you can slip it on and off of your rows. You will need this throughout the entire project. Okay, and I believe this is last but not least, you're going to need it's called a Kumihimo disc, and this is a foam disc. We sell these on our site for $5, which is another reasonably priced item, and it's foam, and it has different little slots in it and numbers on it, and we will use this for making our cord to our drawstring for the bag. Okay, And I think that's all we need for our supplies right now. Okay, I'm gonna do some beginner stuff for our bag. Let's get that camera put in the right place here. It likes to move around a little bit sometimes, but I think we're good. And I'm going to be showing you how to start this bag off, but I'm going to be using a larger hook and larger yarn so that you can, mainly for visual purposes, so that you can see things a little bit better. But we need to start off by making a magic loop. That is the name that it's called. And it's a little bit different from your normal crochet loop that you start your chain or whatever project with. So when we make this loop, we have our tail end here. Okay, that's with the tail. And then this part is our working yarn. And we are going to take the working yarn and place it over the tail end. So the working yarn's on top, tail end's on the bottom. Okay, and we probably want to make our tail end a little bit longer. I'm trying not to make it too long so we can keep it in camera view. Okay, and then we're going to take this loop, and don't forget the tail end is underneath, and the working end, which is the working yarn, is the part that's attached to the skein of yarn. Okay, and then we're going to take it and flip it over the tail end. Don't flip it over this end of this side of the yarn. You're going to flip it over the tail end of the yarn, and then you're going to grab that middle, which is the tail end. I hope you can see when I tug on it like this, but it's going underneath, but we're going to tug on that and then hold both pieces together and pull up on this a little bit. And we want to leave this, we want the knot tight but the loop large. Okay, and then we're going to start to crochet. Now, when I normally crochet, I hold my my hook in a, this is a knife position, like if you're cutting meat or whatever. When we do this type of crochet, we hold it in a pencil position, which is like this. And on your hook, you'll have a little flatter area on your hook, and the purpose of that is that's a proper place to put your fingers to hold the hook so that the hook's in the right position when you're working it. So that's a little helpful to you if you don't know that. And some of the instructions that I'm giving, some people might say, of course I know that, but this is for people who are beginners, okay? So I want to cover everybody. I don't want to leave anybody out. So what we're going to do next is we want to have our, let's see, okay. If you look at your loop and you pull on the tail end, this end here with the tail, you pull on that and you can see what's moving. That's where you're going to start, right here. Okay, and you're going to put your hook in there, and then you're going to take your working end, which is not your tail end, it's not this one, it's the part that's attached to your skein of yarn. Okay, and another thing, proper placement of the yarn for tension. And I'm only, there's different ways to do this, and I'm not saying that this is how you have to do it. This is how I do it, and it works for me, and I've taught other people and it's worked for them, so I'll teach it again. Put your yarn between your index finger and your middle finger, and then you can use your pinky underneath here to control your tension. Okay, so you want to keep the knot of the loop over this way. So if you place your finger there, that's going to help that. And then you're going to go under your working yarn, grab, pull through. Okay, again, under your working yarn, grab and pull through. Now we're going to go under the loop part that we made our first stitch on, our beginning stitch. We're going to go under that, under our working yarn. Okay, let me show you that again. Okay, let me get this out of the way, try to make it as clear as possible. Here's our loop. Okay, here's where we made our first stitch. Now we're going to put the hook inside the loop, or through the loop, with our working yarn, under the working yarn, grab, pull through. And then this is very important because I had always in the past worked my next part of the stitch the same way. However, with this type of crochet, it is beneficial. I'm not going to tell you can't do it, because you can do whatever you want, but I'm going to tell you what I've learned from trying this several times, and I'm sharing all my experience with you, so you're getting a load of experience all in a nutshell right here. So you're going to go, it's going to go, instead of going under like we did before, we're going to go over. The yarn's going to go over the hook, not under the hook first. When I say under, it's where it starts from. It starts under. When I say over, it's starting on the top. Okay, so we're going to go over, grab, and pull through both loops. And that is, this here is your first single crochet. Now this is where the stitch marker comes in handy, and if you get into the habit, you won't regret it. Place your stitch marker on your first stitch when you've completed the stitch, so this way you know it's this loop here. If you can see that loop right after the hook, not the loop that the hook's on, but the next one. Okay, right there. And you want to keep an eye on that, because sometimes they like to slip away. Okay, so that's stitch number 1. Now we're going to be working a total of 6 in here. So let's do this again. Into the hoop, under the working yarn, grab the yarn, pull it through, then over with the working yarn. And you might want to kind of twist here so that this part, so that the shaft of your hook is kind of up, and the catchy part here is heading down into the little V of the stitch. See, that's the V of the stitch right there. And then you pull through both of your loops, and that's number 2. I did mess up a little bit there, but this is just for demonstrations. We're not doing the real thing. So okay, here we go again. Go inside the loop, under your working yarn, grab, pull through, over your working yarn, grab, and pull through. Okay, so now we got 3 on there. 1, 2, 3. Through the hoop, under, over. Okay, through the hoop, under, over. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on there. One more. Through the hoop, under, pull through, and then over and pull through. Now another important thing with this is that you want to keep your tension consistent. You want to keep it loose, not loose. You want to keep it flowing. And I taught, when we were living in Guatemala, I taught crochet classes, and I learned a few terms. Apretado is not tight, and flojo is loose. So, okay, so we're finished our first round. So now what you want to do is, I don't know if you noticed, I tightened up our loop a little bit, and you do that by pulling on your tail end. You pull on your tail end and it will tighten up. You don't have to tighten it totally for this one. Next round we will. Okay, so then we're going to remove our stitch marker, and it usually leaves a little, kind of pulls on it a little bit and leaves an opening. And now we're going to be working in the back loop only. There's 2 loops here. Let me see, let me get under them, see if I can pull them up some to show you. Okay, there's 2 loops here. Okay, 1, 2. We're going to be working in the back loop only for the entire duration of the design part of the bag. The bottom part of the bag is probably the hardest part. Once you get going, it becomes a lot easier, but it's the hardest part. Now I lost my, here's my stitch. Okay, so we're going in the back loop. All right, and then we're going to be putting 2 single crochets into every stitch. Okay, so that's number 1. And we're going to stop and put our stitch marker in place after the first one. That's 1. And then into that same stitch we're going. This is where we were, right in there, right where you got your stitch marker. No, that's not where we're going. We're going in here. If you pull on it, it always opens up. And then we're going to put another stitch in there. Oh, I did doing it wrong. Okay. Into the back loop. Under, grab, pull through, over, grab, pull through. That's 1 in that one, in the second one. Let's do another one. And this is going kind of sloppy here. Under, grab, pull through, over, grab, pull through. That's 2. That's 4. In the back loop, under, grab, pull through, over, grab, pull through. And the reason of us doing, some people might naturally crochet that this way, but for me, I didn't, so I had to relearn, and sometimes I revert back and forget what I'm doing. That's why I constantly say in my mind the steps that I'm taking. You know, the through the loop, under, grab, pull through, over, grab, pull through. This is the part that I have the hard time with. But I'm constantly reminding myself so I don't mess up, because you put there's a lot of work that goes into one of these bags. It's not quick gratification project. It's something that's going to take a long time. So if you're looking for quick gratification, this probably isn't for you, but it's a fun learning experience. You can make some beautiful bags, as many of you have seen, and I encourage you to at least give this one a try. Where, you know, I tried to make this pattern as simple as possible without too many color changes on it, and just so that you get an idea of how to create the stitch, how to get perfect tension. One of my biggest problems was getting my tension right, and I think I finally got it. So this is how we begin, and now I'm going to stop, and then when I come back, I'm going to be working with the real yarn. Okay.